And we are live and back to say hi to everyone.
Hi, everyone.
You got to talk into the mic,
Hi,
Roy.
Hi, everyone.
So, welcome back to Living Fit After 50. We're here every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, but replays throughout the week. I believe most of them are at noontime. Got a good show. We have a returning guest today, but before we get into that, we just want to do the housekeeping. Don't forget, if you are watching us on Facebook or YouTube, give us a thumbs up, will you? It really helps more people to see it. You know the drill on that. And of course, if you're listening to us on the Big Talker Network, we love having you join us there. And if you're not listening to us on the Big Talker Network, go download the app. Mm-hmm. It's available on Google Play and the Apple iStore. As always, you can call into the show. I have the number this time, 910-444-0281. And then one final thing we want to talk about, just real quick. You want to share the spooktacular details?
You're on a roll. Go ahead, Butter.
Just call me Butter. I'm on a roll. We have a spooktacular program that is going to be starting on November 1st. It's a sugar detox program. Not going to get into the details here because we got more important things to do, right?
We do.
But if you want to check it out, visit our website, livingfitafter50.com. You'll see right on the top of it is a link to all the details. Come join us. On that note, how's Lori, by the way? I haven't even said hi to you.
Yeah, I've been waiting. Lori is good.
Lori's good? Just good?
It's Friday.
She got her hair done the other day.
I
did. If you're watching us on video.
Yeah, so I keep like poofing it up, making sure,
I'm not going there. All right, let's get over to our amazing guest. I'll let you go ahead and introduce her.
So Pam Howe, owner of How to Run in Savannah, Georgia, is back with us today. We were unable to finish all the things we wanted to talk with her and her husband about. Show. So we brought her back because Dan has some great questions for her.
I do?
You do. So I'm going to let...
pressure's on, I guess.
I know. So Pam is with us. Her husband is, what's he traveling? Is Phil traveling, Pam?
He's just overwhelmed. He's just really busy today. So
all right.
He couldn't pull himself away. So we got some traveling coming up here pretty soon, though.
I know.
Well, I can relate to being overwhelmed.
In November for the Top 50 Run Store celebration, since we made Top 50 in the nation, we get to go down and celebrate and receive our award and go to an awesome vendor expo, and we're real excited about that.
That's great. That's great.
Top 50 in the nation. That's amazing.
Top 50 in the nation. Yes.
Give yourself a pat on the back on video so everybody can see that you earned it, because you deserve it.
We're
proud. Well done.
Second year in a row.
Second year. Wow.
The first year we were nominated, but we didn't make it. And then for the last two, we have made it. And this is only our third year in business. So 2 out of 3 years we've made Top 50.
That's a pretty amazing accomplishment. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
So we covered a lot in our last time you were on with us, but we had so much more we wanted to get to, and we're so glad you could join us again. Lori's pulling out all these questions apparently that I'm supposed to ask.
Well, you had some specific things.
Yeah, but before we get into that, Pam, why don't you go ahead and tell the audience again a little bit about you, your store, just to kind of refresh it for those that listened before or maybe who didn't have the opportunity to listen before.
Well, my name is Pam Howe, and I was never a runner until the year I turned 50 years old. I was always a walker, always a fitness buff, went to the gym, that kind of thing. But once all of my walking partners either moved away or had babies and stopped walking, I decided to try the running gig. And it was hard at first, but very quickly I fell in love with the sport, ran a 5K, got addicted, and went from 5K to full marathon in 8 months. And the year that I turned 50, and I haven't looked back. And my husband and I have just loved the whole community atmosphere of running and racing and training and coaching. So we opened our own store 3 years ago. We had a little hiccup with our first store, not a little hiccup, a huge hiccup. Our first store, we lost 6 days after our ribbon cutting. We lost it to a fire, lost everything, had to rebuild. And we rebuilt in a different location where we are now, and we've just blossomed. We have a great run family, a run community that support us. Just, it's amazing how much they support us. And we just love what we do. And obviously, we're doing something right since we got top 50 in the nation. So we're real happy, real proud.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we travel a bunch to go to races, that kind of thing. This year's been a little quieter for me. I ended up canceling my big marathon this fall for several different reasons. So back at it, and I'll start up again for big racing again next year. Looking forward to it.
Great.
Maybe next year, Pam, you should come up here to Wilmington because the Battleship Half Marathon, I believe, is coming up in the very near future.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it is.
I'm not sure exactly when it is, but that might be a fun one for you to do. And heck, you could stay with us.
I'll have to look it up.
I'll be your Sherpa.
That would be wonderful. Sounds great.
Yeah, I actually have thought about running it. I hate running, as we talked about before, because I played football, and as anybody who's ever played football knows, you run laps when you screw up, and I ran a lot of laps in my day. But I would like to, at some point, knock that one off the list. So maybe I could do it with you. Who knows? I might need a little bit of training, but I can get there.
Sounds good.
So,
just got to see what month it is, and then I can get a training plan together for you.
Yeah, that could be fun. So we want to talk about a few things today that we really didn't get into. It last time we had talked about running in general, I think, and things like the footwear and all of that. But really, we wanted to kind of talk a little bit about, one, getting started. One of the things that I wanted to approach with is this time of year, a lot of people are thinking about or have actually already signed up for or about to the turkey trots that are coming up, which are ballpark 5-6 weeks away. So I know there's a lot of people that are interested in like, hey, I'm going to go sign up for this thing. What the heck do I do? I've never run in my life, kind of like you mentioned before. So I want to get a little feedback from you on how you would approach it with someone who maybe hasn't run much, if at all, but who's interested in doing something like a turkey trot. There's also ones at Christmas time. Lori and I have done New Year's 5Ks and 10Ks.
Yep.
So just thought we'd start with that, and then we'll go from there. So give us your thoughts on how you would approach that with someone who maybe hasn't done any running, but wants to do a turkey trot, because they are a lot of fun.
They're fun. They're great. And it's great to get out. And sometimes people dress up in costume, that kind of thing. So it's just fun to get out and burn some calories before we eat all that holiday food. But the main thing when it comes to getting somebody ready for a race, and that would be any race, is to find out how much time they have available to train. What days of the week can they train? And where are they now? And do they have the proper gear? So like we talked about this before, getting fit, getting properly fitted for your gear, for your running shoes is first. Where are we when it comes to walking or fitness? So, and what are people's goals? So if somebody has a goal just to cross the finish line for a 5K and possibly even walk to that finish line, that's fine too. It doesn't matter how you get there if it's just for fun. If you're not out there to break any records or anything like that, there's nothing wrong with actually walking a 5K. People do it all the time. And we support that 100%. If somebody has not run a 5K before, but they are a walker, the suggestion is to start with intervals. So we want to do a timed interval. We walk a certain amount of time, so we can walk for a minute, we can run for a minute. We walk for a minute, run for a minute. You set up a timer. You can do it on your phone. You can do it with a little Gym Boss timer that beeps. You set up your interval for how much time you want to walk, how much time you want to run, that kind of thing. And if we're training for a run-walk interval, you gradually increase the time of your run. So if you want to eventually be able to run that entire 5K. So you could run for a minute, walk a minute, then eventually run for 2 minutes, walk a minute. So you would need to do this. And we have programs. We have Couch to 5K programs. There's all kind of programs out there, but one that people talk about all the time is the Couch to 5K program, where somebody's getting off the couch, never run a day in their life, but eventually they can run a 5K. So it's mainly a run walk interval where we gradually increase the amount of time that one runs to eventually be able to run that full 5K. There are people that may not want to run the whole 5K. You can do a walk run interval for the race too. You can walk it, you can run the whole thing, or you can do an interval. So the main thing is to get somebody set up on a plan that fits their schedule, that fits their abilities, their current abilities, and fits their goals. So when we have a goal in mind, we want to make sure that it's a doable goal, that it's something that can be completed. We're not going to give somebody, some crazy finish time expectations if they've never run a 5K before in their entire life. So either finding a coach to assist with that, and we can assist with that. So if people want to reach out to us at How to Run, we have an online coaching platform that we use. Great. So we can set up training plans for people online, and you can actually put the app on your phone, and your workouts show up every day on your app. It tells you exactly what to do and why. And then if one is wearing a watch of the sort, like a Garmin or something like that, or uses Strava to track their training, all of that can upload to that app as well. So your assigned coach can look at your workout after you've completed it. And if you don't have something like that, you can enter your workout, which is fine too. So that's the main thing, to find a coach, find a plan, and find what works for you when it comes to your abilities and your goals.
Do you think there's like a minimum amount of time that you really need to, let's say you don't, obviously you're not going to be looking to win if you're just starting out, but let's say you wanted to light jog it, nothing crazy, but you didn't want to walk it, maybe just a little bit more than that. Do you think like maybe 2 days a week, 3 days a week would be what you'd recommend if someone could find that time, or more or less?
I would say at least 3 days a week. I would say 3. Okay. It's very important. I mean, even if you go to a gym, you're not going to see a whole lot of progress if you're doing less than 3 visits a week. Do you not recommend something like that when somebody's going to the gym in order to actually see progress?
Absolutely.
So absolutely. So when it comes to running 3 days a week or more, so 1 on the weekend, 2 days during the week. Yep. Again, what fits your schedule? Can you run in the morning? Can you run in the evening? Can you do a combination of the two? I prefer to run in the mornings because it fits my schedule. My evenings are busy. So I get up very early, I run before I go to work, and that way I don't have to worry about doing it later. Somebody might have to change their schedule. They might have to change their schedule a little bit if they want to squeeze that in. So yeah, you got to get up a little earlier if you want to get that in before you go to work. So if somebody really wants to do something, they have to make changes or give up something else somewhere else in their life in order to be able to fit that in, I would say. But 3 days a week at a minimum.
Just cut back on the Netflix for a half hour to 45 minutes.
There you go.
Pretty much good to go with that. It does. One of the things that I think a lot of people don't understand is, they think they're going to go do this. One, a lot of them do it without any training, which is, first of all, a mistake, unless you're going to walk it. But even then, if you haven't walked 3 miles, because a 5K is 3 miles, you still need to be thinking about doing some training with it. But the other side of it is they think they don't need to do any. The other side of it is they think it takes hours a week. It doesn't.
No.
Half hour, 45 minutes for most of the training sessions, maybe stretch it out on, like you said, weekends. One of the things I've done when I've taught people or done similar to Couch to 5K is you do 2 shorter ones during the week and maybe the longer one on the weekend because you have more time.
Exactly.
But I highly encourage anyone, even if you don't like running, and I have already said I despise it, go do like a turkey trot. They are a blast.
They are fun.
They're like a big party. We have one here in Wilmington, Wrightsville specifically. That course is dead flat. It's a basically goes around the loop. If those of us that live here know what we're talking about. It's a very easy course. You could walk it. Many people did. We've done it a couple times.
Yep.
Many people walked it. There's elite level runners in there too. They're going to be done in, 15 minutes or actually probably a little bit less than that. Let them do that. Last time Lori and I did it, we were about 45. We weren't.
Yeah. And then you pushed me.
I did win.
Yeah.
I shoved her aside and made sure I won because that's what we do. But they're a lot of fun, and I really encourage. It's a great way to start exercising too, because you're setting an objective or a goal or something that you're going to do, and then you work towards that. And as you mentioned, you're burning off some calories before you go stuff your face later in the afternoon. That's never a bad thing.
Right. So Pam, before we take a break, which will be in a few minutes, you talked about your app. So I know that you have your website, howtorun.com. If
Correct.
one was from Wilmington or Albany, wherever, and they wanted to do your app because they're not with you, would they find that information on your website?
There's information on the website about gait analysis that we do. The best thing for them to do is to email me or send a Facebook message at How to Run on Facebook. My email is pam@howtorun.com. And we can get it all set up. The main thing, all I need is, name and an email address and a birth date, that kind of thing. And even the birth date isn't even that important. But mainly just an email address to get things set up. So so all of the guidelines can be sent to that email address. And then we work on a plan together. So
Great.
I mean, I'm a certified RCA run coach. I have 2 other coaches that work with me at the store. And my husband, Philip, is set up as a coach on the plan. He's mainly done a lot of wrestling coaching in his day, but he's also a run coach. So we have several different people that can help out and set up plans and follow up. So email, phone call. 912-604-8122 is my cell. They can call me directly if they want to, and I can get them all set up.
And I can stealthily send you Lori's email address, and you could make sure she gets out and starts running, even though she's had her knee replacement.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about trying to run a little bit. You got to walk before you run. I can run.
Well, you've been walking.
Yeah, so I think I can do
that's
it.
one of the things. I'm sort of half joking with this because for those that are regular viewers and listeners, Lori had a knee replacement last January. Most of you know that. She's come a long way. She's far ahead of where most people are. And I know you enjoy doing the running.
I like the runs.
Yeah. She made me do 9 5Ks, Pam, in 1 year. And how I am with running.
And it's funny, Pam, so just so you know.
And I won half of them, just for the record.
February 25th, 23 is the half and full marathon here in Wilmington. One? They have a half and a full. And I'm thinking, well, I did one half. I can probably do another, even though I vowed I'd never do another one again. But
and I'll be your Sherpa again.
If I train for it, last time I didn't train for it, but I think, I'll probably do it in 4 or 5 hours as opposed to 3 hours.
Yeah, you did awesome.
Yeah. So,
all right. On that note, why don't we take a break right now? It's probably a good time. And then what we want to do is talk about a little bit about nutrition in running, because I think that's an important thing. So let's throw it to TK for a quick break, and then we'll come back and pick it up with Pam.
Veteran Awareness sponsored by You Are Not Alone. Today's veteran homeless rate is approximately 19,750, and the numbers are declining because of the various veteran programs. If you are a veteran you know is homeless, please call 877-4AID-VET. This is a confidential and toll-free call. From this veteran to other veterans, please be there to help our brother and sister veterans. Again, the number is 1-877-424-3838. And thank you for your service.
Are you nervous about joining a gym? Anxious about not being able to keep up with others in the fitness classes? Full Circle Fitness has your solution. We specialize in working with those just getting started on their fitness journey. Our coaches tailor each workout to you and your level of ability, so you don't have to worry about keeping up. There's no better opportunity to get started. Call today, Full Circle Fitness, 910-399-8350, or visit FullCircleFitnessNC.com.
Oh no, our roof is leaking and hurricane season is right around the corner. Don't let a leaky roof keep you up at night. Protect your home. Call Best Choice Roofing to schedule your free, yes, absolutely free roof inspection. Best Choice Roofing works with insurance or can repair the roof before the next storm, whether it's a full replacement or a repair. Choose the best. Call Best Choice Roofing at 910-228-5000 or go to bestchoiceroofing.com to book your appointment today.
It seems like every other store is now selling CBD in some form or another. But did you know that Wilmington has just one local CBD company? I'm talking about Carolina Pure. Family owned and operated, they are Wilmington's first and only CBD company that makes quality hemp products right here in town, including tinctures, topicals, and pet products. Their hemp is sourced from local farmers and they support area musicians and nonprofits. Check us out at carolinapureshop.com.
Folks, you know you're all looking for that special gift. Lines are long, traffic is frustrating, supply chains in the news. Just take a deep breath. If you're anywhere near Oak Island, come by Seaside Jewelers, 8801 East Oak Island Drive. Avoid the traffic, the lines, the frustration, and get that extraordinary and special gift. From high-end diamond rings to Larimar, from necklaces to bracelets, watches, and unique jewelry. And you also get one-on-one service with their experienced staff. Great prices now, just in time for the holidays. Come by and check out Seaside Jewelers, 8801 East Oak Island Drive.
And we are back to Living Fit After 50 with our guest, Pam Howe.
Hello.
We're here. We're good. Again, if you want to call in and ask any questions of either Lori and I or our guest, Pam, 910-444-0281. I didn't mention earlier, you can also, if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, jump into the chat and put a question in there. And our producer is watching that and will let us know if there's any questions there. It's a great opportunity. You have a running expert here.
We do.
And why not take advantage of it? If you've never run before and you have questions, you can answer that. If you're a runner and you want to become a really good runner, that's what Pam's here for. So we were just talking about getting started or thinking about doing 5Ks. But one of the things that I think we didn't really touch on the last time Pam was on was a little bit about nutrition and how to approach that and incorporate that with running. So, Lori, did you have a question on that?
Well, I think that a lot of people don't eat correctly.
No.
I know, right? Imagine
You're
that.
kidding. I'm shocked.
I know. So
Color me shocked.
when working out or running or any of that, where I think that's some key information that I think would be important for you to get out to people that are getting started running, that are avid runners now, because you are that running expert. And if you could just give your insight on that, we would appreciate it.
All right. Well, anytime we exercise, anytime we run, anytime we're doing any kind of exercise where we are burning calories, we need to make sure that we have fuel. Food is fuel. Fuel is calories. So in order to have the calories for energy, we have to put those calories, we have to put that fuel in our body. So we need to have the calories to burn. Our bodies are only able to store a certain number of calories in our muscles, in order to fuel ourselves. So we can store about about 3,000 calories of glycogen in our muscles in order to burn. I wish it was dollars, right? So we need to make sure that we're putting that fuel in order to be able to burn it for energy. We can burn fat for energy. We can burn sugar for energy. Sugar is calories. Sugar is carbohydrates. There are other forms of carbohydrates as well that are not sugar, and that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk a little bit about burning fat for fuel, to fuel the bodies. A lot of people put a lot of sugary products into their body because it's a bunch of sugar that's going to spike the sugar, that's going to give them quick energy. Quick energy is good, but we want long-lasting energy. We will be able to fuel our run from beginning to end without having any kind of a crash. Have you ever heard of the wall and people hitting the wall in a long race or a marathon? Does that sound familiar to you guys?
Oh, yeah. I've hit the wall.
You hear that? The wall? Ever heard of somebody hitting the wall? Yeah, I actually. It means running out of fuel. It means running out of steam, running out of calories, running out of sugar, running out of glycogen. Right. So what we don't want there to be a wall. We don't want there to be a bunch of sugar spikes and crashes by putting sugary products into our bodies. So one thing that I've discovered a long time ago that I've used for fueling all of my runs is a product that's called UCAN, UCAN. It's called UCAN. And here's one of my little props. So this product is actually called super starch. This is 100% super starch. So this was formulated years ago for a young boy named Jonah who had a glycogen storage disease. His body could not process his food and give him energy. So every 2 hours, his parents, as a baby, was feeding this child because his body would become lethargic because his body couldn't process the food that he was eating and give him the energy. And after many, many trials with doctors and scientists and the father and the mother just trying all different kinds of things, they discovered that starch helped this child. So they got together with nutritionists and scientists and doctors, and they found out that this form of starch, which is actually made from corn, just like cornstarch, but it's cooked in a patented process with heat or just high heat and water, and it makes what we call super starch. And this product gives extended energy. So after trying this with Jonah as a baby, the child was able to sleep for 8 hours at night, and his parents were able to sleep at night. So they said, well, if this works for a baby, and it works for other children because they used it on other children with glycogen storage disease as well. They said, how would this work for athletes, to fuel athletes? So the very first one that they tried was Meb Keflezighi. He was a very famous marathoner who's won the New York Marathon, Boston Marathon, earned many Olympic gold medals. And he was the first guinea pig for this product. And I tried it years ago. I became an ambassador for the product back in 2016, and I've never strayed away from it. So what it does, it gives you constant energy from beginning to end. When you use sugary products, yes, you're putting a lot of calories in your body. It gives you fuel to burn, but you have that sugar spike and the sugar crash. And when your sugar spikes, your body produces insulin. When your body produces insulin, it shuts down fat. So when your body has fat to burn, because your body's shutting down that fat burn, it's burning that sugar, and when your sugar's gone, that's your crash. So a lot of times, or always, if people are fueling on sugary products for races or training, they're having to take it over and over and over again. And one serving of UCAN can keep somebody fueled for an hour and a half to 2 hours without having any kind of a crash. So it's great for training runs. You don't have to worry about continually taking anything in a training run. It started out mainly as just a powder, and you mix it with water and take it about 30 minutes before there's different flavors. I like a plain, and I mix it with a protein powder that I like, but it comes in lemon and orange and cran raspberry flavors. You mix it with water, you shake it up, and you drink it 30 minutes before you exercise. You can use it for runs. You can use it for working out at the gym. You can use it for everyday energy. And it keeps your blood sugar consistent throughout your run, throughout your day. You got that afternoon energy slump you can take it then too. But it tastes good. It's kind of chalky. It's very different consistency, but they actually made it portable. It's called Edge, so it's a fuel to go. So this one isn't near as chalky as the powder. So they just came out with these in the last year or so. This comes in a few different flavors: strawberry, banana, orange, and pineapple. So these make it easier for runners to be able to carry it in their pocket or in their pouch or in their vest, if you wear a hydration vest, that kind of thing. So, I mean, this is a definite when it comes to long runs. So you can carry something like this. I used to mix up the powder and put it in a little flask and carry it with me. But now we don't have to worry about that anymore because we have the fuel to go. It also comes in a bar, so you can eat a bar on your way to the gym, that kind of thing, and yes, I'm plugging a product, but I'm plugging it because I believe in it. And if I'm going to tell people, coach people how to run, this is very important. When it comes to coaching, and letting people know what their body needs in order to be able to get through their training run, as well as recovery. We also have recovery products that has protein. So you want to put protein in your body, protein and carbohydrates after your run to make sure that you have that ability for muscle repair and the protein and the carbohydrate to replace all the carbohydrates that your body burns throughout your run. Another thing that's really important too is hydration, replacing the electrolytes that we're using when we're running. So we're burning all these electrolytes in our sweat. So when we're sweating, we're losing sodium, potassium, magnesium, all of this that's in our sweat, we're losing. And we need to replace that. So it's very important that we replace that with a product that contains electrolytes. And UCAN, of course, has that too. But the important thing, you have Gatorade, you have Powerade, you have all these different electrolyte drink products. But it's important that if you're using a product that's not full of sugar, that's the key with UCAN. It's a starch. And yes, it's flavored, but it's flavored and sweetened with either stevia or monk fruit nectar. So it's not sweetened with any kind of sugar that's going to give you that sugar spike or crash. And it's important that if you're using something like that, you don't want to drink a product. Like say you're running a marathon and they have Gatorade on the Gatorade is loaded with sugar. So if I'm taking my super starch and not putting sugar in my body, I don't want to put sugar in it at an aid station because my body's going to pull that sugar first. I want to be able to fuel on fat as long as I can. And without that sugar spike where my insulin is spiked and my fat is shut down, my fat burning is shut down, as long as I can fuel as long as I can on fat, I'm going to make it to that finish line without that wall. So it's important to not use an electrolyte product that has sugar in it as well, because my body's going to pull that sugar first and it's going to totally negate everything that I've tried to do by trying to burn fat as long as my body can. So it's important to train with the product that you plan on using on race day. We never suggest doing anything new on race day. So we don't want somebody to say, oh, well, I'm just going to train, drinking Gatorade. But on race day, when I think I want to do better, I'm going to try a different product. No, we don't do that because we want to make sure that we don't surprise our body with anything that's going to upset our stomach. A lot of the sugary products do create GI distress. And again, the UCAN is a product that does not. The molecular structure of the UCAN is just totally different than a sugary product, so it does not give any GI distress. So a lot of times people have struggled to find a product that works for them because of issues with having to use the bathroom way too many times during a race or training run, that kind of thing. And the UCAN does not create those issues for most people. So that's an important thing, to provide the calories that we need for our run, to provide the energy. In this case, it's in the form of a super starch rather than a sugar. Fuel our bodies, train hard, and then provide something after we train for recovery. And then also to replace those electrolytes. So three pretty important things that we need to make sure we take care of whenever we train and run.
So Pam, that was a lot of information, and I know I wanted to touch on the UCAN at the last time, but again, I'm glad we're doing it today. So for somebody, because I know a lot of people ask this question, and I know if they don't have the UCAN product right now, so if I was going to get started on running, what would you recommend I eat 30 minutes before I set out? If, just getting started,
Mhm.
couch to K, what would you recommend that I have prior to starting?
Say a bagel. A
Okay.
bagel with some peanut butter. So there you're getting your carbohydrate and a little bit of protein. You're going to satisfy your hunger that way. I would say eat it 30 minutes to an hour prior. Banana is good. Banana has your potassium in there, so that's great, and your carbohydrate. So that's sugar, but it's a natural sugar, obviously.
Right.
So sweet potatoes, believe it or not. I mean, sweet potatoes are great. I've known of people just to have a sweet potato and eat it 30 minutes before. So if you can eat a complex carbohydrate as opposed to a simple carb, brown rice, quinoa, things of that sort, to have in your system, for a meal beforehand, that kind of thing.
Right.
But if you're getting up out of bed, running a 5K, simple, keep it simple, something that your body's used to,
Okay.
the bagel and the peanut butter, almond butter, banana, fruit. Grapes are great too. Grapes are wonderful for energy. So things of that sort.
I'm kind of chuckling, Pam, because if she asked me the question, I would have said exactly what you did, almost verbatim. One of the things I always joke about with people is back when I was competitive rowing, we had to fuel up. So we would be staying in hotels when we went to regattas, and a lot of the hotels would serve breakfast. And the two things that we would wipe out are oatmeal and the fruit,
Yep.
especially bananas. And in fact, a quick funny story is we went to World Rowing Championships in Canada. This is in like 2009 or 2010. So, we're crossing the border, and one of the questions that one of the Mounties asked us is, are you carrying any fruit? And I think it's safe for me to answer this now, but at the time we said, oh, no, sir, we have no fruit. We literally had 2 cases of bananas sitting in the back of the car because that's what we would eat either pre-race or in between races. We used to actually carry them in the boat sometimes because in rowing there's a thing called hot seating. You would do a race, and a race could be anywhere from a sprint race 3 to 5 to 6 minutes, and then a head race you could be 15-20 minutes at max pressure the whole time. And we would need fuel, and bananas were the go-to source. And so we would carry them in the boat with us, and we, at the end of the day, you got half a dozen banana peels sitting in the bottom of the boat. But everything you said, I wholeheartedly agree with. Those are the things. And a key phrase that you mentioned, I just want to reiterate, is don't do something new on a race day.
Correct.
Because you could be, a 5K. There's generally, most 5Ks have bathrooms somewhere along the way. But some of the longer races, you might not have one readily available, and that's the last thing you want to have happen. I do have a question on the product that you have. How is it different than, say, something like myself? I've used gels in the past, which I'm sure you're familiar with. I'm not a big fan of them because I think they taste horrible, most of them. But they are a quick energy source. Is the difference primarily that how fast it gets into the bloodstream, or is there a difference? I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, is that, yeah.
So what you've probably had in the past is a very high sugary product or high sugar product, which is okay for some people, but it gets into your system faster, but you burn it up faster. So therefore you have to repeatedly take it. So, I mean, somebody that's running a marathon has to carry things on a belt or in a pocket, and take them every 30 minutes, depending on how long you're running a marathon. That's a lot of stuff to carry with you. And you can use 1 or 2 servings of UCAN. And if you mix the powder, you can actually do double scoops to get you even more time on one serving. It's actually multiple servings, but you can take it one time and it actually extends your energy. So that's the difference. And that sugar spike, again, when your sugar spikes, your insulin spikes. And so your body is not going to burn fat. So you're totally fueling off of that sugar. So that's why the amount of time that you have. Yes, you can run fast, but you're going to burn it up real quick. So you have to make sure that you're ready to take that next serving before you burn up that first one, or else you're going to be in trouble because you're going to have that crash. So people need to make sure that they time it right in order to take those servings over and over and over again for something that's a long race. Somebody running that's running a 5K, it's not going to make that big of a difference when it comes to having to do multiple servings. It's just the constant energy, which is nice. It's nice to not have to worry about crashing, even as you're approaching the finish line. You don't want to worry about crashing. So that's the difference. And there are so many gel products out there that are made with so many, and they have so many different names for the sugar that's in there that you don't even know what it is.
Right.
But
a lot of them, it's just pure cane sugar. It's really what it is. They flavor.
And I've known of people that, and there's products that are just like pure maple sugar, maple syrup. Yes. Absolutely. There are people that fuel on maple syrup. So I don't want to burn on sugar. I want to use my fat for fuel, and even the leanest of runners can still have thousands of calories that they can burn as fuel from fat. So it's not a matter of, okay, I'm fat and I have a lot of fat to burn so I can fuel longer, and you're skinny and you don't have a whole lot of fat. How are you going to burn fat? The fact is that you still, even if you are lean, you can burn fat for fuel.
Absolutely.
You just need to replace those calories. It's very important when we're training hard. We eat more because we're burning more calories. And that's also something that's important to make sure that you replace those calories.
On that note, Pam, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back to talk about calories. And we have some more questions for you. And take it away, TK.
Are you tired of making bad choices? Well, don't. Choose Best Choice Roofing for all your roofing needs. From free inspection to timely repairs, we've got you covered. And with our Owens Corning Platinum Preferred status, we'll have you covered for years to come. Give us a call at 910-228-5000 or go to bestchoiceroofing.com today to schedule your absolutely free, no obligation roof assessment.
How far would you go if you had a group of strong, amazing people who support, motivate, and inspire one another to achieve their fitness goals and dreams? At Full Circle Fitness, we aren't just a place to work out. We're a community of amazing people who work together to reclaim our bodies and do things we thought we'd never be able to do again. Ready to set your fears aside and stop making excuses? Call today, Full Circle Fitness, 910-399-8350, or visit FullCircleFitnessNC.com.
Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, located at 8210 River Road, Southport, is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, with the Tackle Box open Monday through Saturday, 7 to 6. Marine Service Pro is a full Suzuki and Tohatsu dealership. They deal in pre-owned boats, full service and repair, with certified technicians in all engines, and fiberglass specialists. The Tackle Box offers fresh, local seafood, live bait, a tackle shop, and fish packing and shipping. They also offer a full-service U-Haul dealership. Spend time with Leon or Jenny for one-stop shopping at Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, 8210 River Road, Southport.
It seems like every other store is now selling CBD in some form or another. But did you know that Wilmington has just one local CBD company? I'm talking about Carolina Pure. Family owned and operated, they are Wilmington's first and only CBD company that makes quality hemp products right here in town, including tinctures, topicals, and pet products. Their hemp is sourced from local farmers and they support area musicians and nonprofits. Check us out at carolinapureshop.com.
Go check that one out, because it not only was it an interesting show, and I personally learned a lot, and I've actually written a book on CBD, but the products are unbelievably good. So, Pam, I have a question for you that I think a lot of people like myself would have. And what made me think about it is I was kind of over on break thinking about the rowing, which is, what are your recommendations on carb loading the night before for, let's say, a 5K, a 10K, a half, a full marathon, any of that stuff? How would you approach it differently? My viewpoint on a 5K was you don't need to carb load, but I want to get your viewpoint on all of them. So what do you think?
Yeah, that is correct. I mean, the longer your race, the more you need to carb load. So yes, when it comes to a half marathon or a full marathon, I'm going to make sure I'm carb loading a few days out. I actually, when I do a marathon, it might seem it's a little odd, but I do a fat load and then a carb load. So since I said I want to be able to fuel on fat to get to that finish line as long as I can. So I actually do a fat load, healthy fats, avocados, olives, nuts, things of that, healthy fats, in order to fill my fat stores. And I start that about 10 days out from a marathon. And then I stop it about 3 days out. And then I do a carb load for about 3 days. And when it comes to the carb loading, sweet potatoes, complex carbohydrates, sweet potatoes, quinoa, brown rice, pastas, that kind of thing. So it is actually important to start that carb loading more than just the day before. Yes, everybody says, oh, I need to have pasta dinner the night before a race. Yeah, I'm going to eat pasta the night before a race, but I'm going to do a little more carb load prior to that as well. And also the UCAN is another way that I can add to that carb load. So the night before the race, I'm drinking UCAN. I'm drinking it as soon as I get up in the morning to make sure I replace those glycogen stores that were depleted overnight, that kind of thing. When it comes to a 5K or a 10K even, I don't think it's near as important. I mean, as long as you're eating healthy and you're well hydrated, that is something else to make sure that you are well hydrated leading up to that race. Again, not as important for a 5K, depends on the weather, but I did pass out. I got heat exhaustion in a 10K years ago when I was first starting out within my first year. And I know it was because I didn't hydrate well enough prior to the race. So it's very important to be sure that we hydrate well that whole week before we're going to race to make sure your body's ready to go. Hydrate before the race and hydrate during and after the race. But I lost it at the finish line of a 10K years ago. And that was on a Saturday. So bad that it took me until Tuesday to recover.
Wow.
And I've made sure that I've never done that again. But I know it was because I did not hydrate before the race and it was hotter than anticipated. I was overdressed. So dressing proper. There's so many things that we can talk about. Gosh, it just, there's so much that you can't fit it in an hour.
Well, I know you're coming back. You're coming back to our show, I believe, in late November.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
So
there is so much. I think we decided December.
Yeah,
there's
in
so
December.
much to talk about.
Exactly. So whatever we don't hit today, make
we'll
notes,
then.
and we'll be able to pull them in on that one.
Just to add my 2 cents on what Pam just said, I actually think hydration is the critical thing, that because I've had it happen myself. Whenever the term I use is bonked, hitting the wall, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
A lot of times for me, it's not because I've run out of quotes energy, which can come from, like you said, fat stores or glucose or any of that. It's because I was not adequately hydrated. I've done events when it's 95 and humid, and you have, if you're thirsty, it's too late. You got to get ahead of the game. And that's why I've always told people, make sure you're drinking adequate amounts of primarily water is what I advise ahead of time, because that gives your body what it needs. And then if you're doing a longer race, Lori and I have done century bike rides, that type of thing. You've got to be drinking the whole time. In that particular case, I'm sure running, you've got to make sure you're hydrated on the course as well. And they usually have the stations along the way. But that to me is a critical thing. So did you have a question, Lori? You kind of look like you did.
It flew out, but it'll come back to me.
Well, I can ask another one if you want.
Of course, go ahead.
So one of the things too, Pam, that I wanted to touch on today, because I actually had someone mention this to me about 2-3 weeks ago. And we were talking about running and specifically doing 5Ks. And she said she didn't want to do them because she was afraid it was going to hurt her knees. And I know how I answered it, but I wanted to get your take on that.
I mean, a lot of it has to do with form. When I first started, there was so much that I didn't know when I first started running. And what's very, very important, of course, besides using the proper gear and the proper shoes and not wearing shoes that are too worn out, that kind of thing, is using proper run form. And we do run clinics at the store. We do run coaching, form coaching, that kind of thing. So it's very, very important for somebody to learn to run properly, to have the proper foot strike on the ground, the proper cadence, which is the number of steps per minute. A high cadence, short stride, and landing on our feet with a 4-foot or a midfoot strike, rather than somebody running, leading with their heel, overstriding. When you're leading with your heel and overstriding, like if you're walking, but okay, I'm gonna add that jog to it, and you're running with the same kind of form that you're walking with, where you're hitting with your heel every time, you're putting so much more pressure on your joints, on your knees, on your hips. You're going to get shin splints. There's so many different things, but I'm 50 years old, but when I have a friend that's a doctor and he does ultrasounds, and I was in there for hormone stuff. And I said, will you look at my knees? And he did ultrasounds on my knees, and he told me how young my knees are. So, I've been running for 9 years now, and I don't have any problems with my knees. So a lot of it has to do with foot strike, form overall, and we can teach those things, and we could teach those things remotely too. But
right.
Obviously it helps to be able to be in the same place with the person that you're working with. We could do videos and things of that sort. We can do it with drills, to help people with drills, to teach them how to run properly, that kind of thing. So if somebody's worried about hurting their knees, as long as they start out using proper form, the likelihood of them hurting their knees is well reduced by that. So.
And my answer to her was almost verbatim. Again, great minds apparently think alike, but I said it comes down to, and that's with any exercise, by the way, not just running. Form is what matters. Right. It's form, and footwear was the other thing I said to her. Is if you have proper footwear, you don't go to Walmart and get those $10 sneakers, because that's the worst thing you can do. But the combination of those two, I have a horrific right knee, ACL and MCL tears in the past. I run pain-free. And I'm not a small guy, so it is possible. You're not going to run out and do a marathon day one. You work up to it. Your knees can handle it. So,
right.
All right. We've got a couple minutes left.
We do. So, I unfortunately do not remember my question, Pam, but should it come to me at 2 a.m., I'll write it down and I'll have it
Save
ready
it for the
our
next time Pam's
one.
on.
But I do want to give out your contact information so our listeners can reach you at howtorun.com. And your email for any questions for Pam is pam@howtorun.com. And I recommend anybody who is getting started out and has questions, reach out to Pam. She does have her Facebook group as well, and that's How to Run, HOWE 2, the number 2, and run. Pam, I don't have your phone number here, so if you want to shout that out, put it
Absolutely.
now would be the good time.
Yes, sure. Absolutely. It's 912-604-8122.
All right. So let's take our final break, and then we'll be back to wrap things up.
I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. Early voting begins today and runs through Saturday, November 5th.
Oh no, our roof is leaking and hurricane season is right around the corner.
Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, located at 8210 River Road, Southport, is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, with the Tackle Box open Monday through Saturday, 7 to 6. Marine Service Pro is a full Suzuki and Tohatsu dealership. They deal in pre-owned boats, full service and repair, with certified technicians in all engines, and fiberglass specialists. The Tackle Box offers fresh local seafood, live bait, a tackle shop, and fish packing and shipping. They also offer a full-service U-Haul dealership. Spend time with Leon or Jenny for one-stop shopping at Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, 8210 River Road, Southport.
It seems like every other store is now selling CBD in some form or another. But did you know that Wilmington has just one local CBD company? I'm talking about Carolina Pure. Family owned and operated, they are Wilmington's first and only CBD company that makes quality hemp products right here in town, including tinctures, topicals, and pet products. Their hemp is sourced from local farmers and they support area musicians and nonprofits. Check us out at carolinapureshop.com.
On a scale of 1 to 5, how much do you enjoy working out? Like most, you probably said 1 or 2. What if there was a place where you could go not only to get a great workout, but enjoy doing it? At Full Circle Fitness, our members look forward to coming in. Not only do they get a great workout, but they have fun doing it. Our coaches will guide you through a safe, effective workout tailored to you and your level of ability. Get started today. Full Circle Fitness, 910-399-8350.
Veteran Awareness sponsored by You Are Not Alone. Today's veteran homeless rate is approximately 19,750, and the numbers are declining because of the various veteran programs. If you are a veteran you know is homeless, please call 877-4AID-VET. This is a confidential and toll-free call. From this veteran to other veterans, please be there to help our brother and sister veterans. Again, the number is 1-877-424-3838. And thank you for your service.
Oh no, our roof is leaking and hurricane season is right around the corner. Don't let a leaky roof keep you up at night. Protect your home. Call Best Choice Roofing to schedule your free, yes, absolutely free roof inspection. Best Choice Roofing works with insurance or can repair the roof before the next storm, whether it's a full replacement or a repair. Choose the best. Call Best Choice Roofing at 910-228-5000 or go to bestchoiceroofing.com to book your appointment today.
And we're back to Living Fit After 50. We just got a minute or two to kind of wrap things up. Just real quick, if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, please do us a favor, give us a like. and share the video because we want to share it with as many people as we can. Don't forget, we have our webpage, which is livingfitafter50.com. We also have our private Facebook group. You can jump in there and ask questions of Lori and I. That's also Living Fit After 50. And lots of other things. Next week, we have a very special guest. The person's a bit of a wackadoodle. It is the person sitting to my left, probably your right on the screen, Lori. So, Lori, why don't you tell them what we're going to be talking about?
So next week's show, we're going to be talking about fitness and cancer. It is the end of the month, so we want to get in some conversations about working out with cancer recovery.
Yeah, Lori is a cancer fitness specialist. We're going to be talking a lot about that and how she helps people who are unfortunately going through cancer and how she can make things a little bit easier. On that note, our special thanks to Pam Howe for joining us today and sharing some amazing information. We'll see you all next week here on Living Fit After 50. You have an amazing weekend and an amazing week next week.
Thanks, Pam.